mornings. Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sand Hills. It is time once again for Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Chief Leader Adams, and along with me this week is John Zumo. Good morning, John.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry if you tuned in to listen to the Colonel. He'll be back next week, but I got to tell you, I'm happy being here. I love talking to all of you and always appreciate that you listen to us. So looking forward to it.
Don't forget, of course, we are being heard and seen around the world on our live video stream. That's available to you now at talk973.com or talk1041.com. Top middle of the page is where that link's located. If you're on your mobile device, fire up YouTube and put Mornings with the Leader Man into the search. And if you're on your mobile device just needing our audio stream, well, that's available to you too at talk973.com or talk1041. Let's see, on your mobile device. My bad. Trying to do three things here. One thing's not cooperating. Anyway, for the mobile device to get our audio stream, you need a streaming app such as TuneIn, iTunes, or Streamer. Any of those will work. Just put WEEB into the search. And if you're on our website at talk973.com or talk1041.com, you can click that icon in the upper right-hand corner of every one of our web pages where it says On the Air, Listen Live. Click that once and you're listening that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sand Hills area. Well, look for, that nice holiday weekend you just enjoyed weather-wise. Well, you can kiss it goodbye here pretty soon, like tomorrow. You'll see increasing humidity throughout the day. Partly cloudy, scattered showers, high of 86. Tonight, mostly cloudy, scattered showers, low of 69. Tomorrow, the clouds knock down the intensity, but the humidity will have returned. Our dew points will be back in the 70s, and it will be there for at least, the next 10 days, which is as far as the models go out. Or my model, anyway. Wednesday, mostly cloudy showers, likely 82 for a high. Thursday, mostly cloudy showers, 84. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the sun pretty much returns with a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon, and we'll have highs in the mid-80s with high humidity. Right now around the Sand Hills, winds are calm, visibility 10 statute miles. Pressure is 30.07, dew point 57, humidity 97%. It's partly cloudy. Let me see if this is going up any. Feels pretty decent out there right now, and it still is. 58 degrees here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. All right, it is 7:35, 35 past the hour here on this Tuesday morning. I keep saying Tuesday instead of Monday, which is kind of stupid, but...
Not really, because it is Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, I'm backwards. Here again, I'm trying to do two things at once, because these level on the recorder went strange. Now we're back intact. But one thing I did do wrong was when I came in this morning and put the fresh Zoom alt in, I put it under Monday. And, of course, the computer has Tuesday in it to play. So it played last
week.
Well, it played last week's version. So I do have the current version to play for you because we don't want to miss the wisdom.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what I mean? 90 seconds of pure wisdom worth having. So here it is, today's version of the Zumwalt Zone.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. A 67-year-old woman tried to pull a fast one in a bingo parlor in Ontario a couple of weeks ago. It's lucky for all the people there that the establishment was on the ball. It could have gotten bad. Elaine Arbeau was suffering with a little bout of anxiety and depression because of the lockdown. Does that sound familiar? Still, that was no excuse for what she tried to do. She made an attempt to enter the Delta Bingo Hall without a face covering, and in fact, after she argued with them, she was escorted out. Who does she think she is? Nancy Pelosi? Her son Gilbert took her back, but he had no luck either. Good work, bingo parlor. Wait, I left something out. Elaine can't breathe through her nose or her mouth. She's fighting lung cancer, and she's got one single breathing hole in her neck. They want her to cover it up. The bingo boss, Cam Johnson, said he'd take a hard look at it and decide. But he'd prefer that people who can't cover their one breathing hole not attend. He said it's best for them. Now, we give the owner of a bingo parlor, we have him deciding what's best for us? Now that I think about it, I reckon he knows about as much about it as the governor does. It's good to know that if a 67-year-old cancer victim with one hole she can breathe out of tries to get out and have a little fun, there are those ready to stop her. For the rest of us, have a good day. Enjoy it. From the Zoom Wall Zone.
All right, we got our dose of wisdom now.
Now, I don't want everyone's people to think that I think that, but thank you for saying that. I'm like everyone else. It's always kind of painful to hear your own voice there. So, and it's painful for you too, folks. I apologize.
A lady that I known for quite a while here in Sand Hills, along with her husband. Fine people, good people. But unfortunately, she's a Democrat. And she loves Joe Biden. And she is fresh on her facts. Anyway, she posted that article on Facebook about the comments supposedly the president said. That they were losers, the military were losers, those that fought in that World War I memorial, and so forth and so on. And of course, the press immediately picks it up. You got, what do they say, 6 anonymous sources told them that. Of course, none of them with the gonads to come up and say it in person.
Well, Steve,
because they're afraid they'll of the Twitter backlash.
If we're going to start counting anonymous sources, and you can say whatever you want, I've got a lot of things to say. I've got all kind of anonymous sources about, just pick one, pick a subject, and just all you have to say is anonymous source told me, and there you go, you're in. No. Since when did we start allowing anonymous sources to have this much credence, unless you have other evidence to go along with it?
Since Democrats started hating Donald Trump, I'd say about
That's
4
exactly
years.
Right. Can you imagine going to court and you're charged with murder? And they present the case, and they say, well, we've got 4 anonymous sources that say you did it. All right, guilty.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Fortunately, in court, they have a thing called hearsay. You get that chunked out real quick.
Yeah.
Because it's not there to say it in person, it's not taken.
Well, you don't have to tell me about that. I used to watch Perry Mason all the time. I wonder if anybody out there even remembers Perry Mason. A lot do, I'm sure, but some of the younger folks are like, who is Perry Mason?
Yeah.
So,
well, anyway, they I commented on her post. I said, well, that's been debunked. I said, John Bolton, who hates Trump, along with 5 staffers who were in the room, as well as Bolton was in the room, for sure, said it never happened. They didn't hear any such words as that coming out of the president. And believe me, if it was said, John Bolton would have said it.
Yeah, he would have. He detests the president. So who are you going to believe? Come on. You're going to believe John Bolton against 5 anonymous sources?
That's what I told her. I said, so I choose to believe people who were there in the room versus, quote, anonymous sources.
Yep.
And, I heard people on MSNBC going, oh, I know it's true. Look at when he lied about this and that and that. So he's lying here.
Well, with the Clinton administration, they only had a few anonymous sources because they very quickly became dead sources or former living sources. So, yeah.
So anyway, they, all you want, if you want to get a whole lot of response, make a comment on the Democratic thread.
Yeah.
Because, to tell you, there were 22 responses, all attacking me.
Yeah, well, pretty soon if you argue with the Democrat, and Democrats prove me wrong, because we've invited you on here, I don't know how many times live, if you argue with a Democrat, pretty soon it will always come down to you are a racist, you are closed-minded. They cannot argue facts.
Yeah. Well, they'll sit there and go off on their little bullet points instead of arguing the facts. But I asked them, I said, no, I told the original poster, who is my friend? I said, and I did all this politely. I didn't get into the weeds with them because some of those posts were all in the weeds and pretty nasty. But I took the high ground. Not the Eric Holder way of doing it. We kick them harder. And I told her, I said, there's 3 reasons I would never vote for Biden. There are plenty more than that. But I said, 3 main reasons is, I said, first of all, he doesn't have any understanding of macro and microeconomics. I said, macro being the world we live in, and micro being the world we live in, and macro is the world the government lives in. And I said, and how they work with each other. He doesn't understand because he's never signed in front of a paycheck. He's never had started a business and run one. He's never had to survive recessions, one right after another, because you have good times and bad times, good times and bad times, because the Federal Reserve just seems to work that way, in that when it's good, they go, oh, we got to worry about inflation, start tightening the money supply. And so they tap the brakes and raise interest rates, so boom, we're back into a recession. Then they go, oops, we went too far. Let's loosen the money supply and pull us out. And that's what they do. Except under Clinton, we had that problem, and they lowered it down to almost zero at the Federal Reserve window, which is where banks borrow. And they still couldn't stimulate the economy, and they didn't have anywhere else to go except negative if they wanted to stimulate it anymore. In other words, you borrow 100, you only pay them back 90. And that's not going to work for the feds. So that's why the Obama administration could not get any juice into their economy because, A, they had all these liberal policies in place that discouraged, like, for example, they canceled all the leases on federal lands for drilling oil. And they wouldn't renew any. And so America went to drilling on private lands and brought up an excess amount of oil to the point we could export. And it's first time since the Carter years when we had that oil embargo. Remember that? Mm-hmm. You lived through it.
Oh, yeah. I was like 1.
Do what?
I was 1 year old.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you always wonder where your next drop of gas would come from. You set in a lot of lines, got up real early to get to the pump before they ran out. But regardless of all that, we finally became energy independent here. The goal was to become energy independent within 10 years. That didn't happen because of all the leftist policies. Couldn't get pipelines built, things that you kind of need to move oil. So we finally got to be energy independent under Trump, and that dramatically reduces the cost of gasoline and fuel for American industry to be able to build their products.
And don't forget national security. We don't have to depend on anyone else for our fuel like we did. Our enemies that we had to depend on.
But anyway, the economics, the fact that he doesn't understand that and how stimulus works and all, because if you recall, they gave Obama $1 trillion with a T dollars to spend any way he needed to help stimulate the economy. What did he do? Grease the pockets of Slender and all his other little buddies out there who eventually took their golden parachute and trashed their company, killing the jobs, and we didn't get any stimulus of that $1 trillion. So that's number one I wouldn't vote for, why I wouldn't vote for him.
All that was number 1?
Yeah.
Wow.
Number 2 is the next two are pretty short. Number 2 is the fact that he has used his position in the past to enrich greatly his family's pocketbooks.
Yep.
You know, we know the story of Hunter Biden, who got kicked out of the Navy because you couldn't keep the Coke straw out of his nose. And we also know about his brother getting all the $1.5 billion of construction contracts from the U.S. Of course, it's our money putting in their pockets. And Hunter was working for that company, and Joe, remember that $1 billion of stimulus money they were giving Ukraine? Well, some of it was earmarked for the company Joe worked for. That's why he gets hired on the board and takes them down for $1 million. But you see, that was your money paying them, not another company's. Yours, because some of that money was earmarked for that company. So there's that. It's kind of like, well, we won't get into Hillary. She's not running. And the last, I can't vote for a man who would do that to America's taxpayer. But when you're so used to spending other people's money, pretty soon you lose the sight of how hard it was to earn it. Because you know how hard it is to earn your money, and he just gives it away like that to his family and crooks. And the third reason, probably one of the most important, you see it every day. That light in his head is just behind those eyes is dimming quick. It's a lot different from a year ago. And he often gets confused and gets hung up. And I just don't want to give nuclear codes to somebody who's not all there. He's had 2 aneurysms already, so he's got a propensity towards that. And what happens when one pops off in his head the next time and he either dies or becomes a vegetable? Then you got Kamala Harris as your president. Really? The most liberal woman in the world? So what are your number 1, 2, and 3 reasons, Sean?
That I would not vote for Biden?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to, my first one, and I don't want to count this as one of them, is he is a Democrat. But, one, he's had 50-something years to do something. He did nothing. So why do we believe that all of a sudden he's going to just magically, miraculously have these great ideas and everything will be okay? And while I'm in there, let me throw this out to you Democrats. I'm sick and tired of hearing you talk about old white men. I am an old white man. I'm a good guy, and I want what's best for America. But if you hate old white men that much, you stupid idiots, why do you keep voting for old white men? You've got Biden in there. Sorry, I said stupid idiots. No, I'm not. You've got Biden. Look who came in second to him, Bernie Sanders. So you got your choice of 2 old white men. No. Old white men. That's the very guys that are keeping you down. Why would you keep voting for them? Become a Republican. At least look into the Republican Party. You'll do a lot better. I guess I'd have to say a crook. That'd be my second one, just like Steve said. If you believe that his son is the only person in America that could have handled that job, his son, who's a cocaine addict, got kicked out of the military, then you know what? Vote for him. If you think they hired his son because he was that brilliant. And the guy's a liar. Biden's a liar. He claimed to have 3 bachelor degrees or so. He said he graduated at the top of his law class. He said he had a full scholarship. That's ridiculous. He didn't have any of those. He said he came from a family of coal miners. Why would you make stuff up that people can check out? It'd be like me saying, okay, here I am on the radio. I'm 6'6" and I'm extremely handsome and muscled up and young. Well, no, I'm not, and you can check that out easily.
It's called theater of the mind, John.
He said he was arrested with Nelson Mandela. No, he wasn't. But I got to say one more thing. Steve said he was very polite on that thread, and he was kind, and he responded. I've been watching a lot, and I'm not kidding, of the very old Twilight Zone series, and you guys need to go back and watch them. They're brilliant. They are so good. But I feel like I'm kind of in the Twilight Zone. I'm hearing Steve Adams sitting across from me going, I was very kind. I didn't yell at them. And I'm thinking, all right, where's the real Steve? Somewhere somebody took over Steve's mind here.
Well, I was polite because I didn't.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But couldn't be any more rude, except the lady that started the thread.
Yeah.
They couldn't have been much more rude at me. I mean, like you said, you wanted Twilight Zone.
It scared me to death when you did that. I thought, uh-oh, another guy's going to walk in here. And I know how these things end.
Yeah. So those are your three?
Yeah. Oh. Well, I don't know if that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but I do have to talk a little bit about what you said about his mind. Now, every one of us know he can't help that. It's not his fault, but he cannot handle this country, this nation. He can't even get up in front of a microphone with a script and even know where his wife is. Shame on his wife, shame on the Democrat Party, shame on his friends, shame on the press for not speaking out. This guy is obviously not qualified to hold this office or any other. That's my theory.
All right. Well, there's also a 2017 report from the Gateway Pundit alleging that a Secret Service agent was suspended in 2009 for shoving Biden after he cupped his girlfriend's breast while the couple was taking a photo with him. According to the site's report, the situation got so heated that others had to step in to prevent the agent from hitting Biden. And the article, which was republished this year, also alleges that at a Christmas party at Biden's then vice presidential residence for Secret Service agents and Navy personnel who protected the Biden family was canceled because Biden would grope all our wives and girlfriends, quote unquote, and asses. So Mark Levin came up with a list of things about this Atlantic story. You've heard that. We talked about that where Biden supposedly, Trump said that the people lying in the graves, in the sacred military grave, were losers and suckers, which he didn't do. But here's some reasoning behind believing Trump instead of the Democratic dribble. He said the anti-Trump story was obviously planted with the Biden supporting Trump-hating left-wing Jeffrey Goldberg of The Atlantic. He wants to know who planned it. The reason given for cloaking the source or sources in anonymity is utterly suspicious. That is, fear of being attacked on Twitter. Yet, we are unable to question the motives of the individuals involved because of their anonymity. Moreover, Whitey Goldberg asked numerous others who were on the trip with the president who denied the story and who would have done so on the record. In other words, talking to Bolton and other staffers who have come out that said they were on the trip and no words were said like that. And he says the reason is that it would undermine the narrative Goldberg was promoting, which he intended to harm the president with media-generated controversy 60 days before the election. Certain other media like AP, Washington Post, and Fox claim they have confirmed the story, but they've not confirmed the story. They confirmed that one or more of the still anonymous sources told Goldberg. That doesn't confirm the allegations. And notice these other media outlets who knew who to contact despite their anonymity. They also kept their identity from the public, so these sources couldn't be challenged or scrutinized. They pulled a similar stunt with so-called whistleblowers in the Ukraine phone call whose name is still never to be printed or mentioned by the media. All of this should infuriate the public as these dishonorable ex-generals and perhaps other deep state actors working with corrupt Democratic Party members attempt to yet again influence the outcome of the presidential race and hope to install the mentally incompetent Biden in the Oval Office. And of course, the sick irony is that Biden was the number two in an administration that loathed our military. And lastly, undermined its readiness and is supported by racial left-wing groups like Black Lives Matter that accuse our military of war crimes. So those are Mark Levin's reasons why the story is completely bogus.
Is that music going to start playing if I start talking? I'm new at this sidekick business.
Do you need it?
No, I don't want it to play.
Okay.
That means I'm gone. That means I'm out of here.
Play.
So how long we got here?
3 minutes.
Okay, good. I'm very professional. Now, I'm not the normal sidekick, so I'm not good at this. But it just makes me sick that anyone would say that Trump called World War I soldiers suckers. It's sickening. But what's even more sickening is that people just believe it. And look what he's done for our military. Look how good a care he takes of everyone. And for any person, man or woman, to say that they are afraid to come forward because of how they'll be treated on Twitter, I'm sorry, but I just have this vision that keeps flashing through my mind of all our amazing World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, and on, soldiers who were charging in up a hill, onto a beach, through a door, and none of them are saying, I'm afraid, because what if they say something harmful on Twitter? They don't know if they're coming back, and some come back just not whole. So, no, shame on anybody who allows themselves to use that ridiculous, stupid, moronic excuse that they're afraid they'll be treated poorly on Twitter. And for a major magazine to even say something like that is ridiculous. I don't know what's wrong with us.
Well, you know what it is? It's probably a failing magazine, which it is, and this is their last gasp for life to put themselves into the headlines.
It's exactly right. It's like some old has-been comedian or some old washed-up actor make a few headlines by bashing Trump, and then that's just the last gasp and dying hope for breath. Joy Behar, whoever even heard of her until she started making these outlandish statements?
Now, she was supposedly a comedian.
Well,
like Whoopi Goldberg, supposedly a comedian.
Well, I never heard of her. I heard of course, I knew who Whoopi Goldberg was, but didn't know anything about.
What was that example you gave of Biden's lying there?
His what?
Oh, his school record and all that.
Yeah. Claimed he had 3 bachelor degrees and claimed to be at the top of his law class. I think he was like...
he was like head of Mensa.
Yeah. Well, if he is...
What he was a liar plagiarist.
I think
every time he read a plagiarized speech, that's a lie.
He got caught for plagiarizing in law school. About the only lie I've ever told approaches that.
You know what a liberal would say if I said that? They say, well, Melania pulled out a paragraph out of Michelle Obama's speech.
Yeah.
Well, it probably was a good paragraph.
Trump made a speech in which he said, Melania made a wonderful speech. In fact, it was so good, it's the second time it's been given.
All right, coming up on 8 o'clock.
Cut me right off.
Time for
Cut me right off.
All our sports and news, and we'll be back on the backside.
Our weather story will take a turn as we head into the afternoon. We are tracking showers to move in, and temperatures will head into the mid to upper 80s. These on and off periods of rain will stick with us into tonight. We are going to fall into the upper 60s and lower 70s. Our highs for tomorrow will head into the lower 80s and mid 80s. It is going to be slightly cooler for us with rain around. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sand Hills, 97.3 FM, 104.1FM, and 990 AM, WEEB, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. As Congress returns to work on Capitol Hill, prospects for another round of COVID-19 relief are fading fast.
Talks broke off last month. President Trump says the blame falls on the Democrats.
I know Pelosi, I know Schumer very well. They don't want to make a deal.
The president says a $3 trillion bill is too much. He says Democratic leadership has another motive.
They think that if the country does as badly as possible, even though a lot of people are being hurt, that's good for the Democrats.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's response?
We're not budging.
After talks broke off, Pelosi said Republicans have to move.
Why should there be a bill that has far less what the public needs? We have that responsibility.
President Trump says he is taking the high road.
I'm taking the high road by not seeing them.
Ed Donahue, Washington.
Wildfires have charred more than 2 million acres in California. That is a record, and the massive creek fire in Fresno County has trapped dozens of people. Another rescue attempt planned for later today.
We have reports of an excess of 50 people or more. We have 3 different locations that we are told are people that need to be rescued from their location. location.
Fresno Fire's Tony Escobedo speaking with KFSN TV. Other parts of the West getting some snow on the ground in Montana, and forecasters say that Denver could see a couple of inches as well. The Trump and Biden campaigns now sparring over a prospective COVID-19 vaccine. Protesters back in the streets of a number of cities last night: Rochester, New York, Los Angeles, Seattle. An 8-year-old girl shot and killed in Chicago last evening. More than 50 shootings in the city over the long Labor Day weekend. Stock futures in the red on Wall Street. Dow futures down 126. NASDAQ futures off 312. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Fifth Season Financial is a licensed lender, not available in all states. Visit fifthseasonfinancial.com for details.
Are you or a loved one suffering financial hardship as a result of an advanced stage illness like cancer, Alzheimer's, or ALS? Are the financial side effects of your medical fight reducing your quality of life and causing stress and worry? Did you know that you could be eligible for a special loan to access funds locked up in your life insurance policy? Text the word LIFE to 411-411 now. Fifth Season may be able to help you address your financial needs through our Funds for Living program. This simple-to-use program helps you access value that is locked up in your life insurance policy by lending you money against the face amount of your policy. This loan is not like other loans where you need to make monthly payments, and it only gets repaid out of the proceeds of the life insurance policy. Visit fifthseasonfinancial.com/radio and get approved quickly. Fifth Season Financial cares, and we're there for you for life. Text LIFE to 411-411. Text LIFE to 411-411.
The case against those involved in the killing of a columnist and outspoken Saudi critic has wrapped up in Saudi Arabia. Those convicted will serve time, but all spared execution.
This has been described by Saudi officials as the final verdict in the case of Jamal Khashoggi, whose murder sparked an international outcry. The journalist was attacked by a Saudi hit squad inside his country's consulate in Istanbul. Saudi Arabia first denied any knowledge of the killing, then described it as a rogue operation. At the end of a trial last year, 5 men were sentenced to death, while 2 senior aides to Saudi Arabia's de facto leader, Mohammed bin Salman, were exonerated. The UN Special Rapporteur commissioned to investigate Mr. Khashoggi's killing described today's court decision as another act in a parody of justice.
The BBC's Caroline Hawley. India and China accusing each other of making provocative military moves, firing warning shots along a disputed border. News and analysis, townhall.com. Avant-garde artist John Cage at it again.
The composer, who died in 1992, wrote a piece called Organ, As Slow as Possible. It's supposed to last for 639 years and is being played at a church in Germany. The piece began September 5th, 2001, beginning without any sound. On February 5th, 2003, the first note sounded. Last Saturday, there was a chord change, with the next one coming in 2022. If all goes well, the piece is supposed to end in the year 2640. Keith Peters reporting.
The International Olympic Committee and Japanese organizers are trying to convince the public that the postponed Tokyo Olympics will take place next year, despite the COVID-19 pandemic. Several recent polls have shown skepticism from the Japanese public and the business community as to whether the games can really go on. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Cal Cunningham makes government work for himself. Cunningham billed taxpayers for 28 days of expenses, even though he only showed up to work for 6 days. That's right. Cal Cunningham billed taxpayers for nearly a full month of expenses, even though he only worked 6 days. That's shady. Cunningham also took nearly $40,000 in tax credits for a home renovation project, using a tax break to add a butler's pantry and wet bar in his house. A tax break to add a wet bar and butler's pantry? Really, Cal? He also blasted the COVID relief program, while the company that paid him took the cash, raking in up to $2 million from the program Cunningham criticized. Sound corrupt? That's Cal Cunningham. He says one thing and does another. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Matchbox Cigars and Pipes is one of Moore County's oldest cigar bars. Matchbox Cigars and Pipes is taking 20 out of 2020 and putting it back in your pocket. Get a 20% box discount with a minimum of 20 cigars, or mix and match 20 regular price cigars and get 20% off. Active Military gets a 20% discount on singular regular price cigars no matter how many they buy. Matchbox Cigars and Pipes. More of the best, less of the rest. 608 Sandhills Boulevard in Aberdeen.
When you need a plumber to do it all, John Cole's Plumbing is the place to call. 639-4933, 639-4933. You know Big John Cole's a local guy. When you need a pro, he's the one to try. 639-4933. 639-4933. Repair it, replace it, he does it all. John Cole's Plumbing is the one to call. 639-4933.
On August 15th, Henning's Taste of India is introducing a new menu, including classic American appetizers, seafood, and more. A featured addition is a Nepalese favorite, momos, a delicious meat dumpling and Himalayan delicacy. Also new to the menu is dosa, a crepe-like food hugely popular in southern India. Starting the 15th, order crab or lobster tail tikka masala and cheese naan bread for just $34.99. Need delicious food for your next catering event? Henning's Taste of India can do that too. Just call 910-725-2050. That's 910-725-2050. Visit their website for an updated version of their menu at henningstasteofindia.com. Henning's Taste of India, Moore County's authentic Indian cuisine. 1720 U.S. Highway 1 in the Old Squires Pub building.
Men over 45, do you have frequent urination, an urgent need to go, weak flow, a feeling the bladder is not completely empty? Do you suffer with an enlarged prostate or BPH? Want to avoid the side effects of BPH medication and invasive surgeries? How? The UroLift system, a minimally invasive approach to treating enlarged prostate with no cutting, heating, or removal of prostate tissue. Imagine an outpatient procedure with minimal downtime, rapid symptom relief, all while preserving sexual function. Find out if the UroLift system is right for you. Call and set an appointment today with one of our urologists at Pinehurst Surgical. Call 910-947-5823. 910-947-5823. Call and find out if the UroLift system is right for you. Common side effects typically resolve within 2 to 4 weeks and may include some pain or discomfort in the pelvis or when urinating and an increased urge to go. Call 910-947-5823.
MCN News. I'm Mike Rayleigh. President Donald Trump will be in Winston-Salem today to campaign. He visited Wilmington last week to declare it a World War II heritage city. Winston-Salem Mayor Alan Joynes tells WXII.
We're doing everything we can to control this and keep the numbers down so we don't overwhelm our health system. So we've done a pretty good job with that. So we hopefully don't want something that will spike those numbers.
The president held a news conference at the White House on Monday. Mr. Trump then took aim at Democratic challenger Joe Biden and accused Democrats in Congress, namely House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, of refusing to make a stimulus deal for political purposes.
I don't have to meet them in order to be turned down, and in order for them to walk out to the sticks, which is the microphones, and give you people a false report of what just took place in the Oval Office.
Michael Cohen's tell-all memoir makes the case that President Donald Trump is guilty of the same crimes that landed his former fixer in federal prison. CBS News correspondent Ben Tracy reports Cohen also warns of what the president would be willing to do to win in November.
Cohen warns President Trump will do anything to win in November.
And I believe that includes manipulating the ballots. I believe that he would even go so far as to start a war in order to prevent himself from being removed from office.
The White House calls Cohen a disgraced felon with no credibility.
More than 40 American Red Cross volunteers from North Carolina are headed to Louisiana to help with the recovery after Hurricane Laura slammed into the Gulf Coast, killing 25 people and leaving thousands without food and water. Disaster relief volunteer Phyllis Quinn tells CBS 17.
You have to be flexible because you never know what you're going to do. Two tropical storms have formed the Atlantic, including Rene, which formed off the west coast of Africa, and Tropical Storm Paulette, which is far from land. You're listening to NCN News.
2020, another big year for North Carolina politics. Republicans and Democrats battling for the state's electoral votes, competing for the governor's mansion, control of the General Assembly, the top job in the state Supreme Court. Carolina Journal covers all the action. Available each month as a free newspaper, every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your best source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
As a judge on the Court of Appeals, Chris Dillon applies the law fairly. He faithfully upholds the law with a reasoned approach that shows an appreciation for your property rights and individual liberty. Judge Dillon leads his fellow appellate judges to unbiased, equitable, and nonpartisan decisions. This November, vote Judge Chris Dillon for the North Carolina Court of Appeals. Paid for by the North Carolina Property Rights Fund.
Gun sales have risen dramatically in North Carolina and in Wake County. The applications from the first 8 months of this year have already exceeded the number of applications from 2017, 18, and 19 combined. Lieutenant Scott Sefton of the Wake County Sheriff's Office tells us,
this has been going on since just about March. It increased significantly right around June 1st.
Disney's remake of Mulan is facing fresh calls for a boycott.
Turns out some of Mulan's stirring scenes were shot in China's Xinjiang province, where an estimated 1 million ethnic Uyghurs are imprisoned in brutal re-education camps. The closing credits even thank Xinjiang's Public Security Bureau. And star Liu Yifei has voiced support for this. Hong Kong police cracking down on pro-democracy protests. One prominent China expert calling this Disney's worst judgment call since Song of the South. Its 1946 film glorifying life on slave plantations. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
The wildfires are causing the closures of some national forests in California.
Amidst a red flag warning and grave fire conditions, the U.S. Forest Service has taken unprecedented steps to prevent disaster.
We have closed down the developed recreation on the El Dorado National Forest. What we're doing by closing the developed recreation sites is also making sure that those folks who may be in harm's way in the event of a fire start are actually not in harm's way.
With heavy winds expected to move potential wildfires fast, 5 Northern California national forests, including El Dorado, are closed to campers.
Many coastal North Carolina vacation rental companies say it's been a busy summer despite the coronavirus pandemic, with many parents teleworking and students going online learning. Long-term rental reservations in the fall are pouring in. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
We will transition into an unsettled pattern for today. We are tracking additional rounds of showers and even a few rumbles of thunder to continue to lift in as we head throughout the day. Our high temperatures are going to top in the mid to upper 80s. Tonight we're going to fall into the upper 60s and lower 70s. Those temperatures for tomorrow will be slightly cooler in the lower 80s and mid 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will stick with us. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Right now here in the Sand Hills area, it's mostly cloudy, 62 degrees, humidity 90%, dew point 59, pressure 3007, winds calm, visibility at 10 statute miles. It's 8:14. Let's take a look at your Sand Hills news for this Tuesday morning. The Moore County Health Department has been notified of confirmed positive COVID-19 test results for 4 staff members and 4 residents at Elmscroft of Southern Pines, and 4 staff members and 1 resident of RHA Health Services in Aberdeen. In a long care or congregate living setting, the COVID-19 outbreak is defined as 2 or more laboratory-confirmed cases. A man wrecked on a Hollier-Davidson trike Friday afternoon while traveling southwest on Highway 2427 near Fessler Lane in Cameron. The victim was airlifted to UNC Chapel Hill after hitting a tree. A group of 11 members of Disciples of Christian Motorcycle Club had been out for a ride under a clear sky. The extent of the injuries not known at this time. And the town of Aberdeen is beginning a water service line replacement project. The replacement project begins today in the Robbins Walk neighborhood on all water services lines and that are connected to each home. The town is asking citizens to be cautious in the area due to construction traffic. That's your WEEB local news this morning from the Sand Hill Sentinel, and you can go online to sandhillsentinel.com for more information. It is 8:17. Sports is next, right here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB.
In sports, I'm Jeff Hamlin. Though they have met only twice, Appalachian State and Charlotte have built a rivalry, at least through social media. The Mountaineers won 2 years ago in Charlotte, 45-9. And this weekend, Charlotte will come calling to Boone, albeit in front of an empty Kid Brewer Stadium because of the COVID-19 pandemic. On Monday, new Appalachian State coach Sean Clark announced that backup quarterback David Baldwin Griffin and reserve running back Raekwon Anderson will not play this season because of concerns regarding COVID-19. Last season, Anderson appeared in 9 games. Coming up this weekend, it will be number 18 UNC going up against Syracuse. The Tar Heels have not defeated the Orange since 2002. There are plenty of expectations this year for the Tar Heels after a 7-6 season that concluded with a dominant showing over Temple in the Military Bowl. Mack Brown, the coach of the Tar Heels, says they can't let the expectations get the best of them.
We'll see now, is that hype real? Are we going to be that much improved, or was it just the momentum at the end of last year and we've lost that momentum now? So it's time to play somebody else and really figure out who we are.
Southern Miss head coach Jay Hobson has resigned. It comes 2 days after the Golden Eagles lost to South Alabama to start the season. Moving on to the NFL, 1 day after being waived, defensive end Effie Obada back with the Carolina Panthers. On Labor Day, Obada was re-signed. That's after quarterback Eli Apple was placed on injured reserve with a foot and hamstring injury. In the NBA last night, Boston defeated Toronto 111-89 in Game 5 of their Eastern Conference semifinal series. Boston now leads that series 3-2. Jaylen Brown leads the Celtics with 27. This is sports from NCN.
And now a message from Barry Zeckelman, Chairman and CEO of Zeckelman Industries.
Dear America, let's manufacture a better future. Let's get back to looking for made in America on the things we buy. Let's bring back domestic manufacturing. Let's build the factories, warehouses, and businesses that build community. Might jumpstart the career of a recent grad, provides the family down the street with a decent paycheck and real benefits, the kind that benefit us all. Did you know that every job in manufacturing creates 5 more in related businesses? Let's give our economy a shot in the arm, and let's take care of the environment while we're at it. Factories in this country are built to the highest standards and are the cleanest, greenest, and safest in the world. Join the conversation. It's happening all around us. Let's take care of each other. Let's make it here. Let's make it made in America.
Zeckelman Industries is a family-owned, 100% domestic manufacturing company. Makers of innovative steel structures and products that lets the water flow, keeps the lights on, and help builders build. Zeckelman.com.
In the Western Conference semifinals last night, the Los Angeles Clippers beat the Denver Nuggets 113-107. The Clippers now lead that series 2-1. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Eastern Conference finals begin with Tampa Bay clobbering the New York Islanders 8-2. Braden Point, 2 goals and 3 assists for the Lightning. Dustin Johnson, $15 million richer after capturing the FedEx Cup. Johnson won the Tour Championship on Monday by closing with a 2-under 68. He defeats Xander Schauffele by 3 strokes. Justin Thomas also finished tied for second. Johnson is the first player since Tiger Woods in 2009 to win the Cup as the #1 seed. That's sports. I'm Jeff Hamlin on NCN.
Are you tired of talking to a robot every time you have to interact with your pharmacy?
Please listen to our menu because it has changed. For your prescription, press 1. I'm sorry. Please listen to our complete menu as it has changed.
And how about those robocalls at an inconvenient hour to let you know your prescription is ready? Well, at Health Innovation Pharmacy, you can say goodbye to all those things. So what do we have besides real people answering the phones? We offer one-on-one consultation with the pharmacist, free delivery to your home or office, annual flu shots, lower prices on most medications, and fast, friendly service. So break up with the robot and come visit the real pharmacist at Health Innovations, 295 Pinehurst Avenue in Southern Pines, or call the real person at 910-246-5155 and break your robot addiction.
Thank you for holding. Your call will be ignored in the order it was received.
For more than 100 years, Pines Funerals has been there for Moore County families when they needed us most. We continue to build on tradition of trust by serving all your funeral and memorial needs from any of our convenient locations. Nestled in 15 acres of wooded landscape along Morganton Road, Pine Lawn Memorial Park offers memorial gardens, mausoleums, a chapel, and a beautiful brand new funeral and cremation center slated for completion in 2020. For free pre-planning information or to schedule a tour, call Pines Funerals at 910-947-2224 or visit pinesfunerals.com today.
Matchbox Cigars and Pipes is one of Moore County's oldest cigar bars. Matchbox Cigars and Pipes is taking 20 out of 2020 and putting it back in your pocket. Get a 20% box discount with a minimum of 20 cigars, or mix and match 20 regular price cigars and get 20% off. Active Military gets a 20% discount on singular regular price cigars no matter how many they buy. Matchbox Cigars and Pipes. More of the best, less of the rest. 608 Sandhills Boulevard in Aberdeen.
This is Dr. Terry Ann Sams of Sandhills Weekend Dental. I know some of you are overdue for a cleaning and checkup, and we are excited to welcome a new dental hygienist to our team. Her name is Katie. I can't wait for you to meet her. Give us a call. We are here Wednesdays through Saturdays at 910-687-4423 or visit sandhillsweekenddental.com, 910-687-4423.
We're talking with Sherry Hook of Seven Lakes Contracting and Asphalt Services. Many homes and businesses in Moore County have asphalt pavement that needs repairing. Sherry, what would you recommend?
Seal coating is the answer. It provides an application that seals and protects to prevent damages from oils, rain, and sun, and results in a like-new appearance at a reasonable price.
Is seal coating also used for preventive maintenance?
It certainly is. It extends the life of your pavement, reducing the need for expensive repairs and replacement. Seal coating should be applied every 2 to 4 years, depending on the wear and tear.
So go online to slcontractingllc.com or to the Facebook page to see their customer reviews. Call Seven Lakes Contracting and Asphalt at 910-673-1318. Open Monday through Saturday from 9 to 5. 10% discounts for military and first responders.
This is Neil, owner of Seven Lakes Kennels. We offer boarding, grooming, daycare, and training. More importantly, our passion comes from getting to know each of our families.
My name is Laura Scott, and my dog has been in the board and train program at Seven Lakes Kennels with Neil for 4 weeks. In that 4 weeks' time, I've seen significant improvements in his decision-making, his ability to obey, and to respond to commands. It's amazing what Neil has been able to do.
We moved here a little over a year ago and needed a place to bring our dogs for kenneling and doggy daycare. We have 2 Huskies. They love the place. They get super excited when they know that we turn off the main road and they're coming here. They know where they're going.
We have 2 Huskies, and the younger of the 2 is a little bit of a special needs animal in the fact that she has seizures from time to time. Neil's team at Seven Lakes have taken great care of her and him, the other Husky as well, and we feel totally comfortable in dropping them off.
Call Seven Lakes Kennels at 910-673-2060. That's 910-673-2060.
They just take great care of our dogs.
Jared Kirk and Amy McBride of the First Casualty Insurance Group in Southern Pines talk about the benefits of being an FCIG customer.
Our agency has been in business since 1984. We are an independent agency, which means that we have numerous carriers. Having multiple carriers benefits our customers because it offers them more options for their coverage and price.
One of the most asked questions we get from our clients is how much do they need to insure their home for? Many clients think they should insure their home based on tax value or what they could sell their home for. Neither is correct.
Insurance carriers want to insure your home for the replacement value. Replacement value is what it would take to rebuild rebuild your home back to its current state in the event of a complete loss.
First Casualty Insurance Group of Southern Pines. Call them today at 910-692-8303 or find them on the web at fcignc.com.
The Zumwalt Zone is brought to you by Quality Built Homes, the Sandhills' #1 home builder, developer, and remodeler. With over 1,500 homes built in Moore County, we earn our name every day. Quality Built Homes, 910-944-7453.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. I've got news, and I'm not being sarcastic. This is for those of you who sincerely believe that you should be protected from COVID by the use of a mask. DuPont makes a full suit for less than $20. It's got surged seams, elastic wrists, elastic ankles, and elastic waist. It's made for biological atmospheres like COVID. Apparently, the experts who wear these things for a living don't feel that even that's enough protection. You can also purchase gloves and boots, but you still have to breathe, right? And for that purpose, you may purchase a silicone mask that connects to an air supply, but you've got to purchase that extra. After you use these things once, the entire kit, except for the mask, is properly disposed of in accordance with hazmat regulations. Or, as we all know, if you don't want to purchase all this, you can just pull up an old wadded nasty mask out of your purse or pocket and wear it, and that's just good. Makes you wonder why these experts would ever buy a biological hazard suit, knowing these homemade things work just as well, and that you can use the same one for months. Well, there might have been a little sarcasm involved here. I still say, if you want to wear a mask, do it. You should. But if you really believe that you're killing people, it's my opinion you need to buy the full suit in order to know you're really saving lives. Have a good day. This is Zumwalt Zone.
Our weather story will take a turn as we head into the afternoon. We are tracking showers to move in, and temperatures will head into the mid to upper 80s. These on and off periods of rain will stick with us into tonight. We are going to fall into the upper 60s and lower 70s. Our highs for tomorrow will head into the lower 80s and mid 80s. It is going to be slightly cooler for us with rain around. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' #1 morning show. Mornings with the Leader Man. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
Do you know what day it is?
It's Tuesday here. What day is it there?
Day after Labor Day.
You know what that means?
Please, tell me.
It's Telephone Tuesday. Huh. Didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Oh, my God. Who do we have to thank for this?
Alexander Graham Bell, inventor of the telephone.
Who are you going to call?
Who you gonna call?
Happy Telephone Tuesday.
It's showtime. I've been baptized by the fire in your touch and the flame in your eyes. I'm born to love again. I'm a brand new man. Well, the whole town's talking about the line I'm walking that leads right to your door. Oh, how I used to roam. I was a rolling stone. I used to have a wild side. They say a country mile wide. I'd burn those beer joints down. That's all changed now. You turned my life around. Oh, I saw the light. I've been baptized by the fire in your touch and the flame in your eyes. I'm born to love again. I'm a brand new man.
Good morning. Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM.
I used to
And 990 AM WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sandhills. It is time once again for Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams, along with not the Colonel this morning. He's on vacation this week, along with John Zumwalt. Good morning, ZZ Zumwalt. John.
Good morning. Sorry the Colonel's not here. I'm the rookie sidekick replacement. I couldn't replace the Colonel, but I'll do my best. Glad to be here.
All right, don't forget, of course, we are being heard and seen around the world on a live video stream. That's available to you now at talk973.com or talk1041.com. Top middle of the page is where the link's located on your mobile device. Fire up YouTube and put Mornings with the Leader Man in the search. If you're on your mobile device just needing an audio stream, that's easy too. Fire up a streaming app such as TuneIn, iTunes, or Streama and put WEEB into the search. And if you're on our website at talk973.com or talk1041.com or WEEB990.com, you can get to our audio stream by going to the upper right-hand corner of any of our web pages where it says On the Air Listen Live. Click that once and you're listening that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sand Hills area. Look for things to be, well, we've had 3 nice days. Today's not going to be terrible, as it was forecast as of last night, but today they're dropping the humidity levels down a little bit before the day is out, but it will get worse before the day is out, so you got to keep that in mind. The partly cloudy today officially, scattered showers this afternoon, high of 86. Then tonight, mostly cloudy, more scattered showers, 50-50 chance, low of 69. Tomorrow, humidity cranks back up into the 70s on the dew point scale. Mostly cloudy, high, and by the way, it'll stay in the muggy, that's the oppressive scale. 70 and above is oppressive. And it'll stay that way for the next 10 days. You didn't think Mother Nature would let you have a break, did you? I don't know. So for the next 10 days, you can expect showers and thunderstorms throughout the period at, intermittent times. 82 for a high for Wednesday, 84 for a high Thursday, and pretty much mid-80s for the next 10 days. Right now around the Sand Hills, winds are calm. Visibility is at 10 statute miles. Pressure 3007, dew point 59. Did I say humidity at 10 miles? That's visibility at 10 miles.
Yeah.
Humidity's 90%. And it's mostly cloudy, 62 degrees currently here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. All right, it is 8:33 past the hour on this Tuesday morning. Yeah, got to get that all straightened out. All right, let's see here. Get some things cleared off. I'm in the middle of switching over to this new computer more regularly now.
Yeah, let me tell you out there, in Steve's defense, he's managing 2 mouses. I don't know if you're supposed to say mice when it's on 2 different computers, a keyboard, and
3 keyboards.
3 keyboards and 2 mice. So he's a pretty busy man in here.
Anyway, that's why we let John do all the thinking.
Because I'll go ahead and tune out now.
And I closed out one of the things I just needed. Dummy.
Can I talk for a minute about something?
Sure.
I just read there's an asteroid. NASA released this information. It's the size of London. If you haven't been to London, it doesn't matter. You can kind of picture in your mind an asteroid flying out in space. The thing going 28,000 miles an hour. It's 4.2 million miles. It'll pass within 4.2 million miles of Earth. And I was feeling pretty good about it. Big deal. Those things go by all the time. The NASA issued this statement. They said, this thing has almost no chance of hitting Earth. All right, NASA. You're doing pretty good there.
Almost.
Did you have to put the word almost in there? I want to hear you say, there's no way in the world this thing will ever hit Earth. It's impossible. You just had to put almost for all those nervous wreck people out there who are suffering already from being inside from COVID. Now they can look out the window every once in a while. But I think it's pretty safe. I think we're okay. I don't know why. They've always got to cover their rear ends by saying, well, I said it had almost no chance, and but no. I thought that was an interesting way to put it. Almost no chance of hitting the Earth.
Yeah, like you said, we got asteroids and comets coming at us all the time.
Yeah.
Not like they did back during the cataclysm, is that how it's pronounced? Cataclysm era, where the solar system was forming. That's how they think water got to Earth was through comets. But anyway, we're thankful that it didn't hit, because that would have been a Earth-ending moment if it did.
Well, it's still out there. It's not supposed to pass by till next week.
You know, it's just a matter of time till we do get hit again.
Listen,
there's just too much stuff out there.
This is probably not the right time for us to be talking about this. People are worried about their jobs, about their business closing down, about COVID. And now, I mean, if you're a nervous wreck anyway, well, go take a pill or something and forget what we're saying.
The odds are infinitesimal small.
Yeah.
But just to show you how big space is, the scientists say, if two galaxies, and you know how big a galaxy is, like the whole Milky Way galaxy, and the billions and billions and billions of stars out there, much less the gazillions of planets and other debris. But if two galaxies came together and collided, assumed collided, but space is so big that both galaxies, one passed through the other, nothing would hit anything because the vastness of space.
So you never, ever have to watch Discovery again if you just listen here.
That's right.
You know what you do need to worry about, though? If you live in Chicago, and we have folks listening who live in Chicago, this month, Steve, how many people do you think, this is September the 8th, how many people do you think have been shot in Chicago so far? Now, don't get too ridiculous.
Well, this weekend it was 52, wasn't it?
This weekend, I don't know.
No.
But I do know how many have been killed in 8 days. Or shot, rather. 98 people. 98 people. And that's one every 2 hours and 4 minutes. That's a lot better odds than getting hit by an asteroid.
Yeah.
In fact,
those Democrats are really managing that city well, aren't they?
They're doing a great job. It's the same in all Democrat cities. Here's one for you. Black Lives Matter. Folks, listen to this, because I would like to see you out protesting. Of the victims, of the people who were shot, 22 were white, 406 were black so far this year, and there's other races involved. The people who did the shooting, the unknown gang members who were responsible for, there's 462 unsolved so far this year. 3 white shooters, 33 black shooters identified. And in case you believe that cops are out shooting people in Chicago right and left, picture yourself in Chicago. You're carrying a gun. They give you that gun for a reason. That reason is so that you can protect the community and protect yourself. And you're in a place that's like Mogadishu right now, where shootings are happening at an unbelievable rate. So, of course, you're going to do some shooting. Cops have shot 12 people. The community so far this year, let me say it again, the cops have shot 12 people. The community so far has shot 2,858 people. The cops have shot 4%, and while defending themselves and trying to bring rule of law to this ridiculously run Democrat city. So just remember that when you think about who you want leading you. Think about who's been a good leader and who hasn't in these different parties. Vote Republican.
Well, when you've been emboldened to the point you think there's no punishment for the act,
that's right.
You do all these things.
You're exactly right. Everyone out there has seen a child who's never known punishment. All they've ever known is 1, 2. I mean it, 1, and you see how the child turns out. At least as a child, you've got to have consequences for your actions.
All right. Well, yeah. What was it, a news story? I'm trying to remember it all. But it's a news story where a guy pulled up to a gas pump, and a black gentleman, shouldn't necessarily call him a gentleman, because in this case he's not. And he was having tire problems, so he asked another person at this pump if he had a jack that would jack up his car. And they did. So he shot him.
Oh, my gosh. Well, that's what we've come to. People just getting shot right and left. I mean,
it's like, what good are you then? Boom.
Yeah. No regard for human life, no regard whatsoever. You could not have this many shootings and otherwise. By the way, I got a text here from Jim. He wants to know what is the dew point going to be today?
It'll be in the 60s this afternoon.
Okay.
And crawl into the 70s tonight, and then tomorrow will be in the To be exact.
Okay.
To be exact, tomorrow it will be 73.
That's not good, is it?
No, that's in the oppressive range.
Well,
but the clouds will be out, so it won't be quite as oppressive.
Well, the clouds will be out. In my case, my roof will be over my head with the air conditioning. Whoever invented air conditioning, I know you can't hear
Willis
it.
Carrier did.
Good for him. God bless him.
And he invented it, and right around Thanksgiving.
I'm sitting here with the Discovery Channel guy. I'm telling you.
Well, I think it all.
These are right at the top of his head.
When we celebrate Thanksgiving, I think we ought to celebrate and Willis Carrier's birthday.
You are not kidding. Can you imagine being alive with no air conditioning? Of course, I was when I was a kid. We didn't have air conditioning. You hear that, you little brats out there? We didn't have air conditioning. We had to
school. You didn't have air conditioning. You just opened windows.
Yeah, and of course we didn't know any better. And
you had that old-fashioned steam heat.
We were talking yesterday about the pioneers that had to forge their way across America. Imagine riding in a wagon train, and you're walking along beside it. You've got to go to the bathroom. And you've got to stop and squat, and then you got to catch up. And then the Indians attack you. And the best you can hope for is the scout goes out and shoots a nasty antelope or something and just dumps it. And then the women had to clean it and gut it. And you got to cook it that night. No seasoning. You got to build a fire. And then when you get where you're going, you got to cut down trees, build a cabin with an axe. You don't have a chainsaw. It was a hard life. And when I think about, I've had a knee replacement, a back operation, I can barely see. I've had my eyes operated on. Everybody in the Old West must have been blind and limping, and no wonder no one lived past 30 or 40. They didn't want to.
Yeah.
They had it. It was a tough life.
Well, yeah.
I don't know where that came from, but
if I'd been living there, I would have died at 59 when I got that appendicitis.
Oh, yeah. You almost did anyway.
Yeah, well, doctor tried 3 times to kill me. Not quite. Didn't quite get me. But I felt that almost dead.
Well, I know that I had the best surgeons you could ever find, and I know that I'm very happy with them, and I know what I struggled with my operations, and I know what it was like before them. So, man, we are blessed, and if we think we're tough sometimes, or that things are tough, I should say, we should be so grateful, so thankful for all we have, even if we just have air conditioning.
All right. Well, we haven't done this week and forgot to do it last week, and that was to check in with our married couple. Today's topic, summer's over.
And now today's episode of The Married Couple.
Labor Day's over. Summer is over.
That wasn't even like a summer.
Lost summer.
Worst summer ever.
Bummer summer.
Bummer summer.
Join us next time for
Bummer.
The Married Couple.
Steve, I don't know if you're paying for these. If you pay a nickel, that's way too much for that. Who writes these things?
Well, in this case, the liberal staff does.
It is pathetic. That was awful.
But
I'm sorry. I'm supposed to.
I was going to say this is why the divorce rate is up 38%.
Yeah, and the suicide rate's going to go up listening to that.
Well, in case you missed the Kentucky Derby on Saturday, which everybody did since they had no audience, live audience, the horse named Authentic beat the heavy favorite, Tis the Law, in an exciting home stretch battle. In case you've missed all the headlines for a while, here's the call.
And they're off. Homeschooling is starting out slow but gaining momentum. Here comes Kellyanne's daughter, and she's pulling away. Wildfires is coming on strong from the outside, followed by I'm sick of politics. Sadly, COVID weight gain is bringing up the rear. And California roasts is really heating up as the field makes their way toward the backstretch. Mulan's release is out in front, followed by binge-watching Netflix. Violent protest is overtaking quiet downtown. Meanwhile, social distancing is keeping things honest. And down the stretch they come. NFL season is bearing down. It's wildfires. It's I'm sick of politics. And I'm sick of politics wins it by a landslide.
Well, they left one out. And the governor has stopped halfway through to poop all over his constituents. I left that one out.
Stopped it halfway through. He's been doing it since day one.
Well, I wasn't really shooting for accuracy there.
Yeah, Governor Cooper is in a little power grab up there. Now, tell me why they can't open. 3/4 of the country can open up their theaters, but we can't in North Carolina because obviously our governor, who talks to you like this, pretending you're a third grader. And Jeff was telling me one of his friends was up there in Raleigh. The governor spoke. He said, "Damn, but Steve doesn't have him nailed."
Well, I've got to tell you what I found out yesterday. I don't know how I missed this. Probably the only one here that didn't know it, but this is horrible, what I'm about to tell you. The governor, of course, has allowed the liquor stores to remain open.
Of course, they're revenues for the state.
Yeah, but I knew that. I knew he'd let them still. But what I didn't realize was all of the Alcoholics Anonymous venues have been shut down. Now, I know this for a fact because a person told me this yesterday. And she said, we had to go ahead and meet in different places, even though it was illegal, because we were so worried about our members that some of them have got to have this, or they'll start drinking in these terrible, troubled times we're in, especially when they're out of jobs and things are closing down. And everybody out there listening to me right now is suffering some little teeny tiny bit of stress from all this. Some are suffering greatly. But to close down Alcoholic Anonymous and allow the liquor stores to remain open is, along with the abortion clinics, it's beyond my ability to comprehend.
Well, that's what our know-it-all governor does, along with his know-it-all health director, Dr. Cohen, who has demonstrated, you can tell people who are like Dr. Cohen, who's getting her friggin' check every month, making it so easy to tell you can't earn yours.
Yeah. Steve, I can't. I was in the donut shop the other day. I won't even say which one.
Randy's Donuts.
That's exactly where it was. And she said to me, you got in here just in time. It looked like your gut may be going down a little bit. But what I wanted to tell you about what she said was this. We're struggling. We are having a hard time. All of us are. We're having a hard time. Steve, we've got to do something. This shutdown of our great nation has become catastrophic. We've got real people who are out of work, who need to work, and their businesses. We're going to start. I think we're going to have to start announcing. I'm telling the owner of this station what we're going to start doing, but I think we should start announcing the businesses that have had to close down in this community.
I know one of them, the movie theater.
Yeah, the movie theater, and you know what? The bowling alley.
They opened that up this past Friday.
Okay, it's open, but before that, a bowling alley.
Yeah.
Where you can.
They had restaurants and everything else closed down before.
Yeah, restaurant, everything. People, what do you think? People just have money in the bank, that waiters and waitresses and people in the service industry and all the people.
Well, they say 1 in 6 businesses in this country will close down.
That's awful. Yeah. That's terrible.
Saks Fifth Avenue's is about to get evicted because they can't pay their $1.5 million rent.
Well, if I got to be honest with you, if I had a $1.6 million rent, might as well just go ahead and evict me before I even move in. But yeah, you would not think they would be. If they evict them, who are they going to put in there? Coles? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I would feel they work something out.
Yeah.
Because what's their alternative, like you said? A, they got to move out, and B, you got to renovate it for the next client, and in the meantime, you're not making any rent.
No, and it's just one more big blow to our economy.
The question is, can Saks come out of their hole? I mean, $1.5 million is a lot of bucks.
Well, imagine if our economy would not have been so wonderfully robust as it was. If we would have had Obama as president with that. What terrible economy. I can't even imagine what kind of shape we'd be in.
All anybody wants is a chance to survive.
Yeah.
And when big government steps in and takes away any chance, That's wrong.
It's awful, Steve.
Because they don't have any damn skin in the game. You're the one that's going out on the limb and borrowed money. You're the one that's put your blood, sweat, and tears in, your life savings in, all to have Roy Cooper come up and go, you can't open because I'm going to follow the science.
Well,
Screw you, Governor.
I'm glad you're getting angry because I like anger over that particular subject, but I don't have a button to push, so be careful. There's no cuss button over here. But no, I agree. And I think about, okay, you check into a hotel. How do you think that room got cleaned? Some poor lady who's working very, very hard had to clean that room. And now when she gets laid off at that hotel, she's got to go home. Do you think she's got a year's savings saved up? She's barely getting by. And it's the same for lots of folks who have closed down. We don't have a right, Governor. You don't have a right to do this to people. You got to run. You got to
give us some credit for being an adult and can think and can run our own friggin' lives. We don't have to have you to run it for us.
That's right. Leave it up to let people make their own decisions. If people don't want to go eat at a restaurant, they don't have to. If they want to, they can. But let them be the ones who make the decision. By the way, vote for Dan Forrest for governor and Mark Robinson for lieutenant governor.
I would think Dan's a shoe-in. I mean, who wants to vote for the king again?
There's no such thing as a shoe-in anymore in politics. Who knows will ever win, who will win what. So
well, imagine this, John, walking up and finding yourself high in the clouds and hurtling towards Earth.
No, wait a minute.
This guy passed out while skydiving with his instructor, and when he woke back up, he forgot that he was where he was, and here's what his reaction was.
Hey! Okay?
That was real audio.
Well, let me tell you, I've got a lot of jumps skydiving, but I never got so comfortable that I fell asleep on my way down, took a little nap. But if I would have woken up, that's what I would have sounded like.
And suppose you're a 12-year-old kid in Colorado, and you're on a virtual school site.
Yeah.
You're at home, and you're playing with your toys, kind of like all of them do at home while they're online. Mm-hmm. And he picked up a green gun,
a toy pistol.
And, of course, he was then suspended from the school after his teacher spotting him holding the gun during an online class. Cops also showed up at his house.
Oh, my God.
His parents weren't very happy about that. Here's what they had to say.
He's in the comfort of his own home. For the school to expect for there not to be any type of toys or anything around someone's home, pretty ridiculous.
For them to go as extreme as suspending him for 5 days, sending the police out, having the police threaten to press charges against him is insane. If her main concern was his safety, a 2-minute phone call to me or my husband could have easily alleviated this whole situation.
Or just, it's none of her business. The kid had an obvious toy green gun his parents were giving him. I'm going to tell you how paranoid I am. Whenever I click on a video that someone has on Facebook or something, or if someone goes live, Facebook Live, I'm like, I turn the phone away so that just in case they can see me. I don't know who can see who on these phones. Yeah. I don't want to be broadcasting to a big group of, a big audience there that's Facebook Live, and I'm the guy who shows up with a ridiculous looking look on his face, like everybody looking at me and laughing. So I'm scared of these things.
Let's see. A guy in Charlotte was caught on a gas station security camera trying to torch someone's car because this is what it was. I was talking about it because they didn't have a jack he could borrow. Instead of shooting him, he was trying to torch him. My bad. And he accidentally set his own pants on fire. Talk about karma. A reporter showed the video to random customers to get their reaction.
Pretty brave to just go up to somebody's car and he's spraying it. It's like he don't have any regard for life. Even his own. Oh, it set himself on fire. He's stupid. He's crazy.
He lit his car on fire?
That is disrespectful. Somebody could have died. That vehicle could have exploded. And the damage of all the other stuff around You could hurt innocent people just because somebody tell you no. Kids could have been in that car. You never know.
Yeah. So you can't help him. He wants to firebomb you.
That's amazingly ridiculous. That'd be a pretty good song, actually, if the guy had been a liar. But anyway.
Next time you're flying, some guy in England took advantage of the online airlines rule that you don't have to wear a mask while eating. It's kind of hard to. So he brought a full can of Pringles on the plane and ate one chip every 2.5 minutes. So it took 4 hours to finish.
Very good.
Does this prove the old "once you pop" slogan wrong? Remember that slogan from Pringles back in 1969?
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Well, now think about this. The airline rule is you can eat if you don't have a mask on. So let's just picture everyone on the airplane, 3 abreast. Everyone takes a mask off to eat. Now they've all breathed. And so the damage is done or not done. The whole thing is just so ridiculous. You know, okay, you're okay, buddy. You took your mask off, but you're eating. So the germs know to stay right there with you while you're eating. Next to me, it's 2 inches away.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And put it back on, though, because they're going to stay right here beside you.
A guy in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, theme park, shot video of a family of bears crossing over some coaster tracks. Just seconds before the car from the ride passes that same spot.
I would be freaking out.
Oh my God.
Oh no, stop it. Oh my gosh. I bet that person's freaking out.
Sounds like they barely missed them. I didn't say that.
Yeah, the coaster just missed the bear. Imagine what would have happened if Mama Bear was right there.
Oh, that'd been awful.
The coaster would have derailed, and a lot of people might have gotten killed.
Yeah. What else you got?
A retired. These are my good news stories.
Okay.
A retired cop in California named Terrell Potter needed a new kidney, and an unexpected donor. Ran out of time.
I hate that when that happens.
Thought I had 3 more minutes. All right, so it goes for this Tuesday. Have yourself a great, safe day. We'll see you back bright and early tomorrow, 7 to 9, for a Hump Day Wednesday already, and an extended version of the Zoom Wall Zone. And in the meantime, don't forget to support all our mom and pop businesses that you hear on this station, because they have been supporting us, and it's time for us to give them first crack at your spending dollars while we create our own comeback economically. And don't forget millions of Americans have fought and have died to give and protect the freedoms that you get to enjoy today. Live today worthy of their and their family's sacrifice. I'm Steve Leader Adams, and the Leader Man, and Nick and Colt the Dog. We'll all see you this afternoon at 2 o'clock at the Hot Humid Dog Park.
When I come back, you'd better be laughing.